We started with Psalm 139 last week, and we're going to continue with it today. We're going to read 7 through 12, and then we're going to go back to the Hebrew Scriptures and read a couple stories from the earliest humans. Psalm 139, verse 7. I'll read from the Revised Standard. It kept some of the these and the thous. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend to heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in Sheol, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there thy hand shall lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, let only darkness cover me, and the light about me be night, even the darkness is not dark to thee. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light with thee. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. Chapter 3 of Genesis. We're going to read 8 to 19. When we read these passages from Genesis, listen, I should have said this with Psalm, listen for what it speaks about the land and the ground. It's kind of fascinating. And Adam and Eve heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man and said to him, where are you? And he said, I heard the sound of thee in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And God said, who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you not to eat? The man said, the woman whom thou gavest to me, be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree, and I ate. And the Lord God said to the woman, what is this that you have done? And the woman said, well, the serpent beguiled me, and I ate. And the Lord God said to the serpent, because you have done this, cursed are you above all cattle and above all wild animals. Upon your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Yet your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. And to Adam he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth to you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. You are dust, and to dust you shall return. And then jump with me to chapter 4, if you're following along, verse 8. Adam and Eve had children, it says, Cain and Abel. So Cain said to Abel, his brother, let's go out to the field. And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. And the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel, your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your own hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me this day away from the ground, and hid thy face. And from thy face I shall be hidden. And I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will slay me. And the Lord said, not so. If anyone slays Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord put a mark on Cain, lest anyone who came upon him should kill him. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. We believe this to be the word of the Lord. Yikes. So in the very beginning of the Bible, we have these two stories where God is actually searching for humans as if they were trying to hide right, from God. First, Adam and Eve. It's the second creation story, right? I hope you guys remember that there are two creation stories. The first one is a poetic verse of the coming together of the world because of God's voice. But the second creation story is much more intimate. God forms humans from the dust of the earth in this version. And then God gave them instructions to name the animals and to work and serve the land, the earth. And then they were instructed to stay away from the tree in the middle. And I like to think of it as God reminding them that they are not the center of the universe, that the story is not about them, and so stay out of the middle. But they, like us, want to be in the middle. We can't resist. They couldn't resist, and so they asserted themselves, and they took something that did not belong to them, and then it seems that they hid, or they tried to hide from God. And then we hear the question of the day. Where are you? Where are you? If only they had the understanding of the psalmist, right? Who said, where can I flee from your presence, God? If I make my bed in Sheol, God is there. If I ascend to heaven, God is there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle to the farthest ends of the sea, even there God's hand will lead me. God's hand will find me and hold me. And yet Adam and Eve hid. And so God asks, where are you? I wonder, did they believe that they could escape the presence of God? Did they really believe that they could go unnoticed by God? Do we? Do we believe we can escape the presence of God? Do we believe we can go unnoticed by God? It's not the only time God goes looking for humans. Adam and Eve, right? They have these two boys, Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel have grown up, and right before I started reading, they had offered a gift to God. And it appears that God liked Abel's gift better than Cain's gift. And Cain is angry. His countenance fell, is what it says. Cain kills his brother, and again, God comes looking for the humans. Cain, where is Abel? Did Cain think that he could escape the presence of God? Or that he could go unnoticed by God? God says the land has called out. The land is crying with the blood of your brother. Yikes. Even the land itself speaks of and for the actions of humans. So when the psalmist says, if I ascend to heaven, God is there. If I make my bed in Sheol, God is there. If we take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest ends of the sea, even there, God's hand will lead us and hold us fast. The psalmist is making a connection between the land and God, and therefore God and us. We are connected to God, to one another, to the land. And yet, so often, we ask, we hear one another asking, where is God? We are the ones looking often, right? We are the ones asking, where is God? Where is God in the wildfires of Napa? Where is God when the rainforest of Puerto Rico was destroyed? Where is God? God, where are you? We have somehow lost this connection that the psalmist speaks about. And as a result, we are the ones looking for God. We cannot find God where we think God is supposed to be. Even in the very beginning, this truth of our interconnectedness was already fractured, right? Even with the first humans. In the very beginning, that first couple and their children did not understand the world the way that God did, or the way the psalmist does. Adam and Eve thought that they were separate from God, that they could hide, that they could separate themselves from God. Cain thought he was separate. He was separate from his brother, separate from the land. So he separated himself. And it turned out the separation that they thought was true was in fact not true. Adam and Eve were not separate from God. Cain was not separate from Abel. None of them were separate from the land. We're not separate from God. We're not separate from one another. We're not separate from the land. but we have somehow lost that connection. As a result, we are the ones looking for God. We can't find God where we think God is supposed to be. And so we ask, where is God? Where is God when bad things happen? It's our bottom line question, right? I can't tell you. I mean, I'm delighted when you guys want to talk to me about this question. But when I'm outside of my, my people, our people, and I hear other people asking me, or they say things like, oh, I don't go to church. I have too many doubts. Where is God? I want to say, I can't do this with you today. Like, I'll do this with, and you want to show up on church on Sunday? I'm in. Right? Because we all have that question. They think it, like, people have, like, oh, I have too many doubts, I can't be a church person. Do you think church people don't have doubts? Are you kidding? Like, what do they think we are? Like, I just wonder, what do they think happens at church on Sunday mornings? You know what I mean? Like, oh, these people have no doubts. They just show up and they do whatever they do, because they don't know. They don't know what we do. Anyway, everyone else is saying the script, I guess. Right? It's our bottom line question. And I get it. We can't find God where we think God ought to be. And so I want to turn the question on us. And I want to say, have we considered perhaps that we are the ones who have moved in the scenario? That we are the ones who are perhaps hiding or have gone our own way? Have we considered that God is the one looking for us, and we are not where we are supposed to be? What if we've got the question wrong? What if the question isn't where is God? What if the question is, where are we? Where are you? Where am I? Are we hiding? Are we trying to live life as if our actions aren't connected to God, aren't connected to one another, aren't connected to the Lamb? Are we going about our lives exposed, right, like Adam and Eve, trying to go unnoticed, all the while fairly irritated that God is not where we think God should be? Where should we be? We should be asking, where are we supposed to be? Are we the ones running? Are we the ones hiding? Are we where we are supposed to be? Because the psalmist says to us today, where can we flee from God's presence? If we ascend to heaven, God is there. If we make our bed in Sheol, God is there too. If we take the wings of the morning and we settle to the farthest limit of the sea, God will guide us there. God will hold us there. We cannot run from God. We cannot hide from God. We cannot separate ourselves from one another, because the land will tell on us, like it did on Cain. The land will give us away. Can we hear God asking for us? Right? Can you hear God saying, where are you? Where's your brother? Where's your sister? What does the Lamb say about us? Can we dare to answer God? Can we dare to say, I'm here, I'm right here. And I'm like Eve, I want to be in the center of the story. I do. I'm naked and I'm vulnerable, and I would rather go unnoticed by you, if you could just give me a break. Right? Do you hear what I'm saying? I realize like I'm playing with this metaphor, right? I'm trying to insert us into this story so that Adam and Eve is not this external thing, right? Can you see yourself in the story? The person who takes what is not theirs, who says, I want to be in the middle. I know you said don't be in the middle. I want to be in the middle. Can you tell I live with a 3-year-old? I want to be in the middle. Right? And so as a result, I realize I am vulnerable and I'm naked, and I want to hide over here, right? And from my hiding place, I want to say, why aren't you in Puerto Rico taking care of people? Why aren't you in that? Where are you? Pointing my finger at God, all the while hiding myself. Can we dare answer God, here I am? Can we answer God, our brothers and sisters are hurting? Yes, God, I know where they are, and I did some of the hurting. Some of my brothers and sisters are dying in wildfires. They're suffering as they rebuild devastated land. I'm connected to them and I hurt. I hurt too, and I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I think I'm in the wrong place. Can we, will we choose that interconnectedness? Can we really live into this idea that we are not separate from God? We are not separate from one another. We are not separate from the land. Can we choose interconnectedness and stay away from separateness? Because there is a God who we cannot go unnoticed by. There is a God that's saying, where are you? Where are you? Where is your brother? Where is your sister? Where are you? I hear the land calling out, where are you? Where are you? Where are you?